Bible Stories Illustrated, From Genesis to Jesus. If you are new to this channel, be sure to like, subscribe and ring the bell for all notifications for a 10-minute illustrated Bible story every day. In this video, you will hear the moment when Abraham stood face to face with God and tried to stop the destruction of an entire city. Because what Abraham was about to hear would leave him shaken with fear. The three visitors who had eaten at Abraham's tent were now preparing to leave. They stood up and began to walk toward the city of Sodom in the distance. The desert was quiet again, but the peace did not last long. Abraham walked with the visitors for a short distance as they began their journey. Then one of them began to speak in a way that made everything suddenly feel different. This was not the voice of an ordinary traveler. This was the voice of someone who had the power to judge the whole earth. The visitor said that the cry against Sodom had become very loud. He said that the evil of the city had reached a point where it could no longer be ignored. God was going to see for himself whether the people had become completely wicked. The other two visitors continued walking toward the city. But Abraham remained standing before the one who was speaking. The air felt heavy and silent. Abraham suddenly realized that something terrible was about to happen. If the city was destroyed, thousands of people would die. And there was one person Abraham cared about more than anyone inside that city. His nephew Lot was living there. Abraham felt fear rise inside him, but he did not walk away. Instead, he stepped forward slowly. He spoke carefully, choosing every word with respect. But what he said next was something no one had ever dared to say before. He asked whether God would destroy the good people together with the wicked. He asked whether the judge of the whole earth would truly destroy everyone without mercy. This was not anger, it was courage. Abraham was asking God to show mercy. He asked what would happen if 50 good people were living in the city. Would the city still be destroyed if 50 righteous people were found there? The answer came without hesitation. If 50 good people were found, the city would not be destroyed. Abraham felt a small sense of hope, but he also knew how wicked the city had become. He was not sure 50 good people could be found. So he spoke again. This time his voice was quieter. He asked what would happen if only 45 good people were found. Again the answer was the same. The city would still be spared. Abraham took a deep breath. He knew he was standing before God. Yet he also knew that someone he loved was in danger. So he continued. He asked about 40 people. Then he asked about 30. Then he asked about 20. Each time, God answered with patience instead of anger. Each time, God said the city would not be destroyed. Abraham stood silently after each answer. The desert wind moved quietly across the sand. The sky above them slowly began to change color. Abraham felt hope and fear fighting inside him at the same time. He knew he could not keep asking forever, but he also knew he could not stop yet. So one last time, Abraham spoke again. He asked what would happen if only 10 good people were found in the entire city. It was the smallest number he dared to say. The answer came once more. If 10 righteous people were found, the city would not be destroyed. Then the conversation ended. The visitor left. Abraham stood alone in the quiet desert. The sun was now beginning to set behind the hills. The promise of a son had just been given. But now the shadow of destruction had appeared. Abraham could do nothing more. Everything was now in God's hands. Far away in the distance, the city of Sodom still stood. The people inside the city had no idea what was coming. They did not know that their fate depended on only a few good people. They did not know that someone far away had just begged God to spare them. But the next night, 2 visitors would walk through the gates of Sodom. And what they would see inside the city would change everything forever. Because in the next story, the destruction of Sodom finally begins in the book of Genesis.
Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to help spread the word of our Lord. Thank you.